Hello there, everybody. It is Tegan here again today. And last week I did not get the chance to upload a review reaction to the third episode of Shadowhunters. And so this week I thought that I would react to both episode 3 and episode 4 just so I could get my thoughts out about it. Obviously, they're not going to be able to be as detailed as my other two have been, just because then this video would be like an hour long, and that's a little bit too long for a video. But yeah, I just wanted to go over some of my thoughts of the two episodes. My review of episode number 3 is probably going to be just a little bit more structured and less fangirly, whereas my review of episode 4 is probably going to be the most fangirly of them all. Because episode 4 was intense and was amazing, and Malik, and oh my god, it was amazing. I took some notes on my phone as I was watching the episode, and if you guys can see that, my notes of the third episode are a little bit less freaking out, and I've got a bit more. And then my notes from the fourth episode are pretty much all in caps of me fangirling about Malik, because Malik is like one of my OTPs, and I was not okay during that episode. No, I was not okay. Especially because the actors that play Alec and the actor that plays Magnus are two of my favorites in the series, and so now just seeing them together, oh my god, it was amazing, and I can't wait to see where it goes. But I will start with my review of episode 3, and then I'll go into the more fangirly, because it's gonna be very fangirly, so just watch out. So I'm going to be jumping right into spoilers, so if you haven't seen the episodes, then I would leave now, go watch them, and then come back and we can discuss them. But if you have seen the episodes, then stay and we can discuss and fangirl and or fanboy or whatever you are, and we can just freak out together because that episode. So I'm going to be starting with episode 3, obviously, because I'm going in chronological order. So episode 3 starts off with Simon still with the vampires, because in the second episode he was taken away by the vampires, and we didn't see what happened to him because he was taken away. And so we weren't sure what happened to him, but this third episode starts off with him with the vampires. And oh my god, I loved that scene because he is caught in the room and the vampires aren't there, and he's like running around freaking out being like, ah! And I wrote down one of the lines that he says because it was hilarious. When one of the vampires comes in, I can't remember her name right now, but when she walks in, he says, "I have no value to anyone. I'm just an accounting student." Just the way that he said it, it was, I am starting to love this show so much more episode by episode. At the beginning I wasn't like as into it, but now, as you can probably see, I am loving it. So next, Raphael comes in, and he is a little bit older than I thought he was described as in the books. I guess they're all older, but like Raphael just seemed a bit older, and he comes in and he's talking to Simon and the other vampire, and Simon's like trying to figure something out, and then he picks up a knife and he throws it at Raphael, and it hits him in the chest. But obviously that's not going to kill a vampire. And Raphael just pulls it out of his chest and he goes, seriously, I just got this suit. I love witty humor, and oh my god, it was perfection. Oh, I loved it so much. So the scene goes away from Simon and the vampires, and it goes to Clary and Isabel and Alec and Jace. And Clary is freaking out, saying, oh my god, we have to go and find Simon. If we don't, he's going to die. He's with the vampires. This is not okay. He's my best friend. I have to go find him. And so she ends up getting up to leave, and Jace says to Clary about how if she tries to leave and tries to go get Simon, then it is a lot more likely that Simon will die. And Clary just stops in her tracks, and she turns around and she just stops, and she goes back, and she then tries to figure out a more reasonable way of going about it, like making up a plan and all of that stuff. And it does really show the friendship between Clary and Simon, which I love. I love their friendship so much. It is so amazing. So Jace, Isabel, Clary, and Alec go to the graveyard to dig up some weapons that they need to go and get into the vampire lair, whatever you want to call it. And Alec pulls Jace aside, and he says this line, because Alec thinks that Jace is just with Clary for reasons, and Alec does not trust Clary, and so he's like trying to get Jace to get rid of Clary, and obviously Jace doesn't want to get rid of Clary because Jace likes Clary, and it's such a big ordeal, and but Alec says this line. He says to Jace that, oh, you're so desperate to get laid that you'd risk killing us, and Jace's face, it's just and then it goes back over to Isabel and Clary, who have now found the gravestone that can dig up the weapons, and it was amazing and hilarious. So I'm pretty sure it's Jace that goes over to the gravestone to get the weapons out from underground, and Jace says abracadabra, and then Clary goes, wait, your people actually say that? Jace goes, no, Clary, we don't. I can't with this. Oh my, just Jace's sarcasticness is beautiful. It's just beautiful. So they all look through the trunk or the gravestone of weapons, and a bow and arrow is not there, and Alec's like, well, I need a bow and arrow, which is awesome because in the books that's his weapon of choice. And I've gotten used to the fact that this isn't going to be exactly like the book, and that I just have to stop hoping that it'll be exactly like the book. But I have just started just loving seeing the references from the book in the TV show, because although the storyline's not completely the same, the aspects, like the general storyline is the same, but then there are a lot of things that are different. So I have just gotten used to loving seeing the random little reference to the books in there. I love how Jace and Alec are parabatai, and Clary sees it, and then Jace explains parabatai to Clary, and then I love this part. I loved this part. Clary picks up the seraph blade, and Jace is like, well, you're gonna have to know how to use that. And so Jace shows Clary how to use the seraph blade, and just clays everywhere, just clays, just clays, like clays. And then they almost kiss, and it was beautiful. They didn't, but they almost did, and I was freaking out. So after all of Clary and Jace showing how to use the Seraph Blade, it then goes back to Simon in the vampire's lair, and Simon is talking to Raphael and the other vampire, and he goes, I wrote this down, and he says they were talking, and Simon goes, you guys can't even say God, and then Raphael says, for God's sake. There are so many, no, I can't with this show, I just, I'm sorry, I'm a very fangirly person if you hadn't already noticed. So the next part is Isabel goes to see Miliorn, that's how I'm going to pronounce it because I can't exactly remember how it's pronounced, so I'm just going to say Miliorn. But she goes to see him because she wants to figure out how to get into the vampire's lair, and she's pretty sure that he knows how to get in. So she goes and talks to Miliorn, and things get very saucy, and I'm pretty sure it's Isabel that says to Miliorn, or it's the other way around, I can't exactly remember. One of them goes, oh, don't you have something to do tonight, or something along those lines, and then the other one goes, the only thing I have to do tonight is you. Oh. And then things completely heat up, and there's like, just woe with Isabel and Miliorn. Just, I think you get where I'm going with that. I think you get it. But, okay. And then Isabel's talking to Miliorn, and then she ends up getting out of him how to get into the vampire's lair. After the scene with Isabel and Miliorn, it then goes to Simon and the lady vampire, who she has a name, and her name is mentioned in both the TV show and the books. I just can't remember her name at the moment. But they are like completely making out. And Simon starts giving up way too much information, I literally, one of the notes on my phone is all in caps, because I was just writing things down as fast as I possibly could. All in caps. It says, Simon is giving up way too much information, because he was giving up way too much information. And then Simon drinks some vampire blood, which, as anybody who has read the books or has seen the movie or knows anything about vampire culture, that is not a good sign. Okay, so it then goes to Jace and Clary, who have gone into a Damn Worlders bar, and Clary at first can't see anything, and then she starts concentrating, and then she can see everything that's going on around her. And Jace then goes to Clary, I want you to go over and talk to that vampire, and I want you to try and resist his charm. And so she goes over to him, and obviously she can't, because she just can't. And then after a while of him showing off his motorcycle and just charming her to death, Jace runs over. Jace runs over and yells out, "You having fun with my girl?" No, just Clace. Once again, just Clace. Jace ends up getting the keys to the vampire's motorcycle, which can fly, and so they fly to the vampire's lair. once they get to the vampire's lair, they're all sneaking around, and so then they get caught up with the vampires, and a little bit into this fight, Clary gets in a situation where has a seraph blade, but she doesn't really know how to use it yet, and an arrow comes flying out and hits because Valentine's gang following has come in, the circle member, and so they're all fighting and all of this, and Clary's gonna stab him, but she doesn't want to, and then an arrow comes out of nowhere and hits the circle member, and it's Alec, and Alec saved Clary, and obviously Alec doesn't like Clary all that much and doesn't trust her, but he still saved her. I should be smiling, not frowning, because it was I swear half of this video is just gonna be random noises, just random fangirly noises by me, but you know what? I don't care, because that is how I felt about these 2 episodes. So they end up finding Simon, and Raphael comes in and he's like, oh, I need you all to come with me right now. And they all think that Raphael is going to kidnap them, but they go with him anyways because they don't want Simon to die, or Clary doesn't want Simon to die. So Jace doesn't want Simon to die, so Alec doesn't want Simon to die, so Isabel doesn't want Simon to die. It's a whole big shebang. But so they follow Raphael, and then they get into the corridor or whatever, and they open up the door because Raphael's like, go, 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 but he's still got Simon, and so they open up the door and the sunlight comes, so Raphael hides behind a bookshelf thing, and he hides behind that, and he's still got Simon with him, and Clary's like, I'm not gonna leave him behind, and then Raphael pushes Simon and says, go, go, go. So Raphael saves Simon, and they end up getting out, and right before they run out, Raphael says to Jace, remember who your friends are, Jace Wayland. Why? And then they get out of the corridor, and they're outside now, and Simon's like, oh my god, Clary, thank you so much for saving me. Oh, it was just amazing. And the last note that I had written down on my phone, word for word, in all caps, is Alec is the best character ever. He is so amazing. OMG, so amazing. That was what I had written down on my phone as my last note. Oh, I loved this episode. If you hadn't guessed, and this episode definitely was my favorite so far from watching 1, 2, and 3. It was definitely my favorite out of the 3 because the acting is getting so much better. There's not as many bad lines. Clary's acting has definitely gotten better, and yeah, I just really like this episode. And this video is most likely going to be very, 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 very long. So if you're still here, then thank you for still being here, and I'm going to be going into what I thought about the 4th episode now. And just be ready for this video to be the longest video that I've put up on my channel to date, because according to my time here, I have been filming for over 20 minutes. So I'm just gonna get right into the 4th episode. So this video isn't a few hundred hours long, but that episode was just, it messed with my emotions, and it messed with my fangirliness, and it messed with my Clace shipping, because Clace is amazing, and just, that's all I can say about the episode. But now I'm going to be getting into episode number 4. So like I said, this episode is most likely going to just be all fangirliness, even though the last episode was pretty much that as well. Just be ready for a lot of fangirliness in this episode review. So the episode starts off with Simon completely freaking out and running to the lobby of the Institute and telling Clary and Jace that he can't stay and they can't keep him tied down, and so he ends up running out, and then Jace says, "How did that mundane become such a pain in my ass?" Do they want me to just die from just the witty humor in this show? Because that's what it sort of feels like. So Simon goes home, he runs into his room, and for the life of me, I cannot remember the girl's name because she's not mentioned very much in the books. I don't know if she's mentioned at all, or I'm pretty sure she's mentioned some, but definitely not as much as in the TV show. But she runs in and she's like, "Oh my god, where were you? Were you meant to have band practice?" And he's like, "Oh, sorry, I was up all night studying." And this girl says, "Oh, okay, I completely understand." And then she ends up telling Simon that she likes him and that she wants to go out with him. Oh. And Simon's like, And then Simon's mom runs into the room and she's like, "Oh my god, I was so worried about you. Where have you been? I don't care if you're a legal adult now. If you and Clary were together all night, I don't care, as long as you just call me. One of you guys has to have a phone on you, blah, 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 blah." And he's like, yeah, I'm so sorry, Mom. And then the mom walks out of the room, and this other girl is still in the room, and she's like, "Wait, you were with Clary all night? If there's something going on with the two of you, then I just need you to tell me." And he's like, "Oh, well, there's nothing going on between the two of us," but he sounds so heartbroken because he loves Clary, and it's so depressing because I am a Clace shipper and I am a Simon and Clary friendship shipper, but then Simon loves Clary and Clary just likes Simon as a friend, and it's it's just so complicated. Then this girl leaves and Simon, he's being affected by the sunlight because he is now a vampire, and oh my god. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, when this girl was in the room, she cuts her hand on glass and she gets blood out, and Simon goes completely insane. Oh my god. He's turning into a vampire and it's not okay. And then I can't remember if this happens right after this or later on in the episode, but at some point you see him going back to Dumont, which is the place where all the vampires are. So obviously he's going back to see Raphael and the girl vampire to try and figure things out because he is now a vampire. Whoa. Okay, so the rest of my notes that I have here are pretty much all just me completely fangirling over Alec and Magnus because they were so freaking adorable in this episode, and it's the first time that we see them together, and Malik is like my OTP, and oh no, I just I just could not. No. If you ask any of my family members, I was completely squealing throughout every single point of when Malik were together because it was beautiful. So basically what the storyline of this episode was Clary needs to still find her mom, and she needs to find her memories to be able to do so, and she finds out that Magnus is the one that has her memories, so they're like, okay, how do we go and find Magnus? And so they discover that they should go to some party and offer up a necklace that can tell when downworlders are around, which is in the Institute. So they bring that to the party, and they find Magnus, and Magnus is like, oh, well, sorry, I don't have the memories anymore. I fed them to a memory demon. And they're like, wait, what? But then he takes the necklace anyways. But Magnus sees Alec first, and just the look that they give each other, like, Magnus looks at Alec like, and then Alec just sort of looks really like stunned, and he's like, I don't know what's happening, no, but then obviously he's still attracted to Magnus, and it's just all sorts of insane. Alright, so Magnus disappears through the portal, and they're like, oh my god, what are we going to do now? Because Magnus is gone, and he was their only hope for finding the memories. So Alec, Isabel, Jason, Clary walk out of the party, and Clary's like, everything's bad, what are we going to do? And then Jace is like, oh, don't worry, I have a button from Magnus's code. I can try and do it. I can try and trace him. And so he tries, but he can't do it because Magnus has got some like blocking rune, like blocking magic, stopping a tracing rune to happen. And then this was an amazing point in the episode. Alec walks over, and Alec and Jace do their parabatai thing, and it was just beautiful because they are best friends, and it was amazing. And oh my god, that scene was just so amazing because Alec, as they are holding hands, like trying to get this rune to work better, Alec is leaning in closer to Jace, and then once the seal breaks, Alec is sort of like heartbroken because they are apart, and oh no, I couldn't, no, I just couldn't, no. Breaks my heart to see Alec sad because Alec is one of my favorite characters, and it's depressing. Then I mean, he's got Magnus, so it's all good. So they end up finding where Magnus is, and they go to him, and then he's like, oh, blah 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 blah, if you want to find the memory demon, then you'll have to draw this thing on the floor. And so Clary's like, oh yeah, I can totally do that because I'm an artist. And so Clary goes off, and then Magnus turns to the side where Jace and Alec are standing, and he goes, come here, pretty boy. And Jace starts walking forward, and he's like, no, not you. Oh. I swear their relationship will be the death of me. Like, no. It was just too adorable to handle. It was amazing. Oh my god. So, Clary draws the thing on the floor, and they're all like, okay, we have to join hands now, and we have to do some chanting or whatever. And Magnus is like, everybody has to follow my lead. If we break hand contact, then everything will just be ruined. And so they all like lock hands, and it like seals it tight. And then Magnus starts talking, and he's like, oh yeah, just when it comes to the part where the memory demon wants his payment, just follow my lead. And they're all really confused, like, what payment are you talking about? And then, so this memory demon comes out of the ground, and it's like really strong. Magnus is like, if you break the connection, things will be ruined. And then the memory demon says that he needs like one of their cherished memories of their favorite person. And so they all start coming out, and Clary's is her mom, and just they're all people. And then Alec comes. I'm sorry, this is And then Alec's turn comes around, and the memory that leaves his head is of Jace, and everybody can see the memory that comes out of their head. And Jace looks like really stunned, and Isabel is like, oh my god, Alec, because obviously she knows about him being gay, but nobody else does. And then he's like freaking out, and he's like, no, that's not true. And he breaks the seal, and the memory demon starts like completely freaking out, and Alec runs to the back, and he's like, no, this is not true. My heart is actually like pounding right now because, oh no. And then the memory demon's getting out, and Magnus is like, I can't hold it much longer, it's getting stronger. And then Jace runs in, he's trying to fight it, and then he ends up getting pulled in by the memory demon, and they're trying to pull him out, and Clary is standing up to the side in complete and utter shock, and Isabel is yelling out, come help us, we need your help, or else Jace is going to die. And then she pulls out her seraph blade, and Magnus is like, if you kill this memory demon, you will never get your memories back. And she stops for a split second, thinks, and then runs forward and kills the memory demon. I just want to like crumple up into a little ball and like just not be okay, because that episode, oh my god. I just sort of want to read you off some of the things that I've written down on my phone for this episode, because I find them quite hilarious, because as I was watching the episode, I was squealing and fangirling, and that came across in my notes. So I'm just going to read you a few of them. So I wrote, I have lost the ability to can. I can't. No. Too cute. Alec and Magnus. OMG, Alec and Magnus. Magnus looked at Alec. Malik for the win. OMG, Alec and Jace. Alec is an amazing character. Alec and Magnus are bae because they are. Malik will be the death of me because it will. Malik will just be the death of me. There's no getting around that. And then the last note on my phone was just around the point where Magnus and Alec were just like, ah. And the last note on my phone is, that's the note. Yeah, I was just typing random letters because that's how I was feeling at the moment. These two episodes, I just know. I know. I'm actually so excited for the rest of the season. Like, in the first couple episodes, I was like, oh, am I gonna like it? Am I gonna continue watching it? Well, obviously I was gonna continue watching it because it's Shadowhunters and Mortal Instruments, and Mortal Instruments is amazing. But I was like, oh, am I really going to be enjoying it? Like, the acting is really bad, and am I really going to want to, like, put up with the bad acting, and then these last couple episodes were just like, what? Alec and Magnus and Simon and Clary and Jace and just Alec in general and just Magnus in general and just Simon in general. These incomprehensible words were my feelings for these episodes. And if you're still watching until the very end of this video, then thank you. You're very dedicated, because this is like double the time of my other videos, so thank you for watching to the end if you have. I really enjoyed doing this review. I'm really enjoying Shadowhunters so far, as you have probably been able to tell by this video. I'm sorry if this video did not make any sense at all. Hopefully it made some sense if you did watch the episodes. I am hoping, because if not, then yeah. But I was pretty much just a mess while watching the episodes and a mess while filming this video. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video though, because I really enjoyed making it and fangirling, and it was amazing. And yeah, that's pretty much all that I wanted to say, except Shadowhunters is amazing, and it's just, I think if you hadn't read the books, I don't know if you would be enjoying it as much as I am, just because seeing all of my favorite characters come to life is amazing. So I don't know if you hadn't read the books, or if you weren't a big fan of them as I am, if you would be as into it. But hopefully you are if you haven't read the books, because I am loving it. But that's probably why I'm fangirling so much about it, because I read the books and because it's one of my favorite series of all time. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. If you liked what you saw, you can give this video a big thumbs up, and I would really appreciate it. Comment down below what your favorite ship is from the Mortal Instruments, from Shadowhunters. Mine is obviously Magnus, and Alec are Malik is my favorite OTP, but let me know down below what yours is. You can subscribe down below to be told when I make a new video. I make TV show reactions, I make book reviews, I make just bookish videos altogether. I'm going to be uploading my first music reaction sort of video soon. All of my social media links are down below. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everything is down below, so you can go check me out and follow me on all of those there. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this very long, very long and rambly and fangirly video. But I really hope that you enjoyed it if you are still watching. So yeah, I'm Tegan, this is Bookwormia, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Hello there everybody, it is Tegan here again today, and for this video I am going to be showing you guys my TBR for